Hi, my name is Cecile and I've been offering webinars on the title of The Art of Flexible Strength, or The Art of Strength Without Strain, on and off the mat. And we're talking about flexible strength of mind and body on and off the mat. So many of you have been signing up for the webinar, and for some reason or other you haven't been able to make it, and some of you have been asking me if I could send a recording. I can't send the recording of the actual webinars because I don't have an agreement with people who were on the webinar, so I only send it to people who attended the webinar. However, I decided maybe I can create another kind of webinar, in a few minutes, just to give you an idea of what I cover. And the difference is that when I have people participating, because it's a visual format, I'm using a Zoom link, I'm able to see people and they can see each other, and there is, they learn from each other, which is, and I can give feedback. That's the most important part. I can give you visual feedback as we go through a couple experiential example of what I'm talking about. But a big part of the webinar is also to plant seeds of something new that you may not know or you may not have thought about, that can have a profound impact on how you use yourself on and off the mat. So that's what I'm going to cover here fairly briefly, but just to give you the gist of it. So the first thing is, why do people strain on the yoga mat? There are lots of reasons, but some of the common ones is yoga has been taught since the 19th century, and there's a whole history. The 19th century is when people the fitness industry started, and there was we started with the bodybuilders, and with an awareness of body parts. You know, we're going to buff up one muscle or another, and so, but this way has affected yoga, just like yoga has taken over in the Western world. And so we are still thinking of fitness as a body part functioning, where we're attending to the neck and to the head and to the arms and to the hip joint. And this is not serving us to do it that way. Because we lose touch with our innate body wisdom. And the reason we do it that way, it's also because we're approaching yoga as if it was a performing art. So ballet is a performing art. And for ballet, you need to have a special type of body. And people who choose to do ballet or to use that as a career, they know what's in it for them and they go with it. Even though those who even have the body can get hurt because of how they use themselves. But yoga is different. Yoga is for everybody and everybody. And but the thing is, people need to have a tool to access the body intelligence of their body, of their whole body. And there are a lot of confusion around that. People think that if they're listening to their pain edge, for example, they're in touch with their innate body wisdom. And they're right, they are in touch with their innate body wisdom, but not the innate body wisdom of their whole body. They're in touch with the innate body wisdom of the part they're focusing on, whether it's their knee or whether it's their calf or whatever it is. And so that there is a big difference between being aware of listening to the guidance of your whole innate body wisdom and listening to your mind telling you what to pay attention to or how to do the pose according to what you've been taught. And when we do that, it's almost like we think that our mind knows our body better than our innate body wisdom, and that gets us into trouble. So what happened is that over time in our daily life, we develop habits that become so habitual that they feel more natural than the habitual way. And so the problem with that is we can't even tell that we're doing something that's not good for our synergy. So then we go on to the mat, and let's say we're told to lengthen our spine. And if for us lengthening our spine means doing this, then we do this in the pose. But what I just did is not a good way to lengthen your spine. And basically, when you learn how to trigger your body intelligence process mechanism, it knows, it does it for you. You just have to have an intention of a pose, of being in a pose, and then you allow the body to do its thing so that you can lengthen and widen and expand into your space without doing it muscularly. And that is a very new concept, because most people think fitness means you use your muscle to control your skeleton. So this is something that in a regular webinar, we do a few, they're not even exercise, but they're experiences that I give you. Because as a result of those habits we develop, we end up with what I call misconception of movement. And when we have misconception of movement, they're with us everywhere, no matter what it is we're doing. So becoming aware of those misconceptions of movement is the first step towards using your body in a holistic, truly holistic way, to use your body to not interfere unconsciously with the way your body is designed to function. So we cover a bit of that. And then at the end of the webinar, I talk about my e-course, which is coming up. We're going to be launching it, my first launch. I'm very excited about that. I have people who can't wait to start, who already signed up and have been patiently waiting. And this e-course, you can go to my offthematyogablog.com and find the information under, I think it might be called Cecile Clear Offer. It might also be called 90-day live interactive e-course. Anyway, there's a link that takes you to a page that gives you all the details that you need to know, including the special discount for the first launch and the different payment option and the content, and special bonuses, all of that. I'm not going to spend my time telling you that here. But in that e-course, what I can tell you is that we in the first module, you will learn about all those unconscious habits that are corrupting your everyday motion on and off the mat and affecting your posture. Also, we talk about what is effortless posture. Like children, they don't have to think about being poised. They just are. Doesn't mean they never slouch, right? But they don't integrate their slouch into their everyday movement. Their slouch is an expression of a moment, but then they move and they are beautifully coordinated and balanced. So that's what we need to get back to. And that's the work I do, is to help you get back to that. In the second module, I offer a 3-step sequence that helps you, once you're aware that you have those unconscious habits, then I give you a sequence that helps you free yourself from those habits. Because as you know, changing habits is one of the hardest things, right? So having a tool to change those habits, it's wonderful. And it's not just, this work is not just the body, even though we talk a lot about it. It's mind, body, and soul, actually. So, so that tool to change habits you can use for any other habits as well. And then I teach you a way to reorganize your posture while you're just resting. And that includes a form of resting on your back, but also a series of mindful movement for health and poise that I kind of designed to remind your body that it can move without excess tension. And of course, in the process of all this, you realize, you learn why strain never helps you. Strain actually sends stress signal to your brain, which creates cortisol, which is not good for you because it keeps you in that mode of like, I want to protect myself, instead of being your expanded self. We can only be in a contraction state or expansion state. And so when you're in that state, you're not in expansion, and you want to be. The way your body function at its best when you're in an expanded state. So those are some of the things we cover. And also in the webinar, there is a bit of everything that comes in. I adapt it to whoever is in the webinar. And so another dimension that comes up is the cueing, the language, and there's a whole module on that on my course. The way we talk about movement and poses, yoga poses, completely affects how we practice that. So if you're talking about pulling, pushing, squeezing, holding, that is not serving you. I know you're going to tell me that's what you hear from yoga teachers, but the bottom line is that there's another way to get what you want without all that control of the skeleton with the muscles. By letting go of that control, you're not letting go of building up strength or flexibility. You're just letting go of creating body stiffness, unnecessary. I mean, it's always unnecessary body stiffness, and you're letting go of overdoing, whether it's overstretching or overdoing muscularly. So it's really, there's a lot here. I mean, like I could keep talking forever, but I don't want this video to be too long. So, so those are some of the things we cover in the webinar. And basically, when you have those unconscious habits, what it does is that it makes you use certain muscle and joints, giving them a job that it's not their job to do that. So, of course, at some point they complain. When you have aches and pain, it's often your body telling you, and when you strain, it's your body telling you, no, you're doing something that's not in line with my innate body wisdom. And please don't do that. And yet, because of the way people have been taught, and it's not the teacher's fault either, it's just the way society evolved and fitness evolved. It all started in the 19th century with the what was the Industrial Revolution, when appearance, money, and machines were the most important thing. And as a result, fitness became, we started addressing the body as if it was just a machine. That's why all that body parts functioning. And of course, when you're aware of the whole, you're also aware of the parts. I'm not saying that you can't strengthen your leg or you can't strengthen your arms if you want to. I'm just saying you do it from a different place. You do it from a place where you're not forcing it. You're allowing, you're putting yourself in a pose that will make the body do what you want instead of you directly trying to do it. So there's way more to this. There's new concept about core strengthening and what it means to strengthen and what it means to stretch and which inner muscle, outer muscle, all those things are things that are covered in the course and that pop up in the webinar as I talk and guide people present. So, so that's to give you a little bit of a taste of what's happening in the webinar and in the course. And I know just from the impact my blogs have had on people from all over the world, more than 18,500 people have been reading my blog. I've gotten feedback from yogis in India, from people in Australia, and it seems like just even my blog make a difference to people. So an e-course that includes this format where I can see you and you can see everybody else in the course is going to be really amazing, and it can be life-changing, just like people who see me in person. And I'm really hoping that you will make it either to the webinar or to the e-course. The webinar will give you a little more than what we did because we had the experiencing. But of course, in 1 hour webinar, even with a little experiencing, you're not getting all the pieces of the puzzle to the degree that it can really change your life, but it can already make a difference. And I encourage you to explore either the webinar. I'm going to have a few more webinars on Saturdays prior to the start of the course. Then I'm going to slow down for a while. And check the webinar, check the e-course information so that if you have questions, you can ask me on the webinar. And you can email me too if you have questions. So I hope you enjoy this little introduction and hope to see you sometime soon. Bye.